We will start off, I mentioned we got lots of guests today, so we'll start with Carson to come give an update real quick, and take it away.
All right, can you all hear me okay? Wonderful. So as many of you know, since I see a lot of familiar faces here, my name is Carson Spearing. I'm the Associate Director of Development here at Friends Homes and with BrightSpire. And my job is to raise money for the Resident Financial Assistance Campaign. And I also work with Plan Giving, things like that. So I'm not going to take much of your time, but I just wanted to extend a thank you to you because we have hit a significant milestone with the campaign. I want to share that we have crossed $100,000 of our $135,000 goal as of yesterday afternoon. Yeah, it's wonderful. So that is because of your generosity. Many of you have given to that campaign, and I recognize many of you as donors. And so thank you to your families. If they have donated, please extend our thanks once again to them. We know that we have had community members and board members all give, staff who have given. And so we know this is an effort, all of us coming together to make sure that none of our neighbors are ever asked to leave Friends Homes. So thank you for that. Thank you for the impact that you are having here. We are ahead, and our momentum is faster and better than we've ever had it. So we expect that we will meet our $135,000 goal this year. And I look forward to coming in December and telling you that we've met that goal. That's my goal. So thank you again, and I'm going to pass it over to Hank, who has some other things to share with you.
Yeah, congratulations to you and everybody. All right, just a reminder, who's the tall guy with the haircut like Arnie? I'm the new Arnie for now. I'm Hank. Hopefully you got an update letter last week from me, and so that was from me and the rest of the team. But how do you like the seating arrangement? Is this good? This is good? No? Yes and no?
Be hard to get to.
Oh boy, I stepped into it. All right.
Don't answer the question, don't answer.
That's good advice, John. Don't ask a question you don't want the answer to. I thought the answer would be good, so I thought I would start out with that. It was good for you. Yeah. Charlie likes it. I like it. It feels comfortable here, anyway. Well, look, I just wanted to share a couple of things. We've had over recent weeks and months, different people, different residents ask me, so, all right, Hank, who is this company BrightSpire that you work for? What's the relationship with Friends Homes? And what else do you all do for Friends Homes? So, again, we, BrightSpire, have 3 other communities in the state that we operate, River Landing and High Point. We have a community in Cary called Glen Eyre, and we have a community in Laurinburg called Scotia Village. We have a partnership with an affordable housing community in Raleigh called Capital Towers with about 300 residents there. And then we have a small corporate office that provides support to all the communities, including Friends Homes. So I normally work as the Chief Operating Officer. So I work closely with folks like Matt and Susie and the leadership team here at the other communities. Mostly on day-to-day operational issues, capital planning issues, mostly things that relate to the services that you receive from us. But we've recognized that not all of you here at Friends Homes know some of our team and what all that is the work that gets done in our office to support the effort here at Friends Homes. So I've asked a few of our team members to start coming to these meetings over the next several months to introduce themselves to you, just so you have a sense of who these people are at BrightSpire and what is it what kind of work they do here to support Friends Homes. So today I've asked Laura Lowe, our Director of Sales and Marketing, and Janelle Boyd, who works with Laura, to come share a little bit about the work they do to support Rachel, Claire, and Wendy over in the Arcadia house. And I think to share some good news overall anyway regarding occupancy. So y'all come on up, and we'll go from there.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Good. I do not have a haircut like Hank or Arnie. Well, I am Laura Lowe. I am the Director of Sales and Marketing for BrightSpire. I have been with BrightSpire for 13 years. I spent the first 6 years of my career with BrightSpire at our Glen Eyre community in Cary as the marketing director there. So I know firsthand the sales process for the folks coming into our communities. And just wanted to take a moment to share a little bit about what we do to support Friends Homes from a marketing and sales standpoint. And the good news that I hope to share with you today is that our overall occupancy at Friends Homes, occupied and sold, is 95%, which is really good. The really good news is all of those expansion homes that you've seen us selling and working on for the past couple years are also 100% reserved. So the team has worked really hard to make those successful and hopefully be welcoming your new neighbors in the near future. So with that, the West community, the West campus, is actually 99.6% reserved, and it has a pretty extensive wait list. And here, both Hobbs and our townhomes are also 100% reserved and actually occupied, and we do have a waiting list for both of those as well. So currently, our focus for this year and moving forward, well, we've always had a focus on it, but we're gonna have a deeper focus, which is our Woolman and our Fox buildings. So we do have about 21 available apartments there. Majority of them are studio apartments. I think 11 of them are studios, and 7 of those are 1 bedrooms. So we look to you, the residents of Friends Homes, and just remind you that the best referrals that we get, the best neighbors we get for you, are typically come from your referrals. So we welcome those to come in. What Janelle and I do for the team, you don't see us very often, and pretty much that's because we're behind the scenes. So we do all the marketing planning, we buy the purchase list, we look at the analytics and the strategies to bring in new prospects. And then the team here, which is Rachel, Wendy, and Claire, they're the face of Friends Homes. So they're the people who actually meet with our prospects, show them around the communities, hopefully know you all pretty well, and kind of get people to come in and go through that process. We also do things such as all the invitations, all the advertisements, things along those lines to free up all their time to do mostly sales. And now I'm going to pass it on to Janelle.
My name is Janelle Boyd. I'm the Marketing and Communications Coordinator. I've been with BrightSpire a little over a year, so I really enjoyed working for the team. And I recognize some of you from photo shoots and video shoots that we've done here. So that's typically, you'll see me on campus for documenting all the wonderful things you all are doing, and just making an archive of history of Friends Homes. So I do oversee the video shoots and photography for all the communities within BrightSpire's family. And my overall primary responsibility is really the branding of our companies and the different communities, and making sure colors matched, that everything's on point for branding, that people recognize the Friends Homes logo, for instance, and all of those kind of nooks and crannies of being on the creative side of putting the invitations and whatnots together. So that includes the website, and then social media. Another big thank you to you all as well when you interact with our Facebook page, Instagram, on the website, and you're passing that on to your friends. That really helps drive the traffic to let everybody know how great it is to live here. So if you see me on campus with the camera, you know why. And if you ever have any fun events going on and you want to let me know, I'm happy to receive those as well. So we appreciate all your all's help to continue to spread the word, and makes our job easy. Thank you.
Very good. Again, we did this at West, but we want to make sure that we recognize Mary and Hannah. They both are very instrumental in all of the posts that you see on our social media accounts. So we thank them for all their hard work on that. And before we turn it back over to Hank, if anybody has any questions, we're happy to try to answer. Okay. Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate you having us.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Janelle. Yeah, just trying to help you understand some of the work that goes on behind the scenes. I just had two other quick items, and then Matt's going to run through the majority of the agenda. Hopefully you got a letter from me also about the executive director search. I think one thing I just wanted to share with you is it may have felt like it was quick.
Yeah.
But, because I was here about 2 weeks after Arnie transitioned, and then we put a letter out. But just to be honest with you, there was more time that passed in that process. So Arnie was here for a full month after his announcement, so there was 6 weeks there. And then we frankly were having conversations about Arnie's transition back into our little corporate office for a couple of months prior to the announcement that he made to make the move. So there was some time over the summer, earlier this summer, where we were getting organized and beginning to think about it. And so we were able to kind of move quickly once we got the announcement out. So I'm sorry if it felt quick. I want to reassure everybody that we had at least a dozen good applications. 5 of those folks we met with in person over several weeks, had several second conversations in person, and then we're able to invite Jordan, the eventual winner, to be on campus. Jordan spent a full day a few weeks ago. He met with a group of resident leadership, board leadership, and the management team. He and his wife came, and they spent 3 days in Greensboro. And again, a full day here on campus with different folks. So they feel very welcomed and comfortable. Loved hearing everything about Friends Homes, the history and the mission, are excited to be here in the future. And again, the process was thorough. It lasted probably a little longer than you may have realized. So I just wanted to explain that. We didn't just go out to the street and find the first guy that we could meet at the grocery store sort of thing. Jordan's got a lot of really good experience. All his time and 20 years in the business has been in the operations, day-to-day management of services and programs that you all receive. Again, he's excited to be here. I don't have a specific date for his start time, but it looks like it'll be the latter part of October, which is the time frame that we're targeting. We just don't have an exact date yet. He's got a lot of moving parts with his current job and then his family and making a physical move. So I'll share more with you soon about that, I hope. The other thing for me is single digits. So this is a hot topic. Yeah, right. Yeah, I feel the same way right now, to be honest with you. All right, so just a summary. The internet and the Wi-Fi, we made that transition over a year ago. I experience it and use it here. It seems fine for me. I hope it is for you. No looking back on that. The phones soon will be transitioned to single digits. That's in process right now. There's an effort, coordination between Spectrum and single digits, and actually the FCC has to get notification. It's quite the formal process. That's happening now. Matt and I were on a call yesterday with both parties, making sure that it's working and going forward. If there's anything new on that, believe me, we will tell you. But the phones, your individual phones have to be ported over from Spectrum to single digits. So that's still in process, and we'll hopefully come to conclusion later this month. And again, we'll be communicating more about that as we know more, but it's in process still. The TV is another piece, a whole other matter, frankly. What do you know about it?
We want
Huh? All right. Glad you asked. Yeah, so read the news, and there are 15 million Spectrum subscribers in the country. Most of them on the East Coast, because the parent company is called Charter, and they're up in the Northeast, I think. Disney, who owns ABC and all the ESPN lineup, which includes the ACC network, is having a feud with Spectrum about who owes people money. Their contract expired, they didn't renew it between each other, they both want money, and so Disney, the wonderful little mouse, pulled all of their content off of the Spectrum lineup for 15 million people in the country. That had nothing to do with Friends Homes. That happened to my neighbors. Fortunately, I don't have Spectrum at my house. I use a satellite thing and it works fine. My parents live at River Landing and my dad can't watch the Georgia football game and he's real upset about it. So he called me and I said, that's got nothing to do with us. So I got it from both ends. But anyway, so that's not us at all. That's Spectrum and Disney fighting over money. All right, so we're fighting over other things. Our single digits conversation, obviously we would like the idea, and Arnie probably talked to you about all this, is that we would move away from these different providers, and Spectrum included, and go fully with the company single digits that has a relationship with DirecTV. The phone is moving forward. The internet's been working fine. Frankly, that's their core business. They do it really well. We use that service from them in other communities, and it's good. The TV piece, we said, hey, look, as it relates to the existing buildings here and at West, we want you to perform a test before we just do this. Because frankly, we lost confidence when, no offense to Elwood, when Elwood moved in over here in Ridgecrest, we started having problems.
Yep.
Right? And you heard about it.
More than a year.
And we've been struggling. So we made a change away from the Dish product to DirecTV, thought it got a little better, but not great. So we said, hey, before we go any further, we need to test it in the main buildings. So we started at West. And the test has been going on 3-4 weeks, 5 weeks? And it hasn't been great. I just want to be really upfront with you all about it. I'd love to tell you it's been great. Don't worry, trust me, even though you don't know me. But it hasn't been great. There are engineering issues that have to be resolved. And so we are not doing anything with TV anytime soon until we get fully satisfied that they can resolve those issues, perform consistently, and feel really, really good about it. And we do not feel really good about it right now.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll wait till the end, but I have a question about Spectrum.
Sure.
Would you like me to wait?
Not now, no.
No. All right.
I couldn't, how
Now
could I
that
possibly
we
wait?
have started.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I have gotten a bill for 2 or 3 months now from Spectrum for $1.99.
Oh, really?
What could that be? And should I pay attention to it? It doesn't have my name on the address. It says current resident,
Where do you live here?
Hobbs.
Has anyone else gotten the same thing? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I
Pardon?
get a zero bill from them.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'd rather have that.
the question was, she's received 2 months in a row a bill from Spectrum for $1.99. Has anyone else received a bill for $1.99? It worked, you're special. Yeah.
No, I will
No.
stop paying, sir.
Yeah.
It costs more than $1.99 to generate the bill.
Can you bring that to us? So I just get curious, to me or Matt, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
There's Reggie.
Take it to Reggie.
Yeah, no, I won't do that to you,
Don't.
Reggie. Reggie's popular and everybody likes him, so we won't do that. Yeah, hate me and love Reggie, that's fine. I don't know what that is, but I'd be happy to learn more about it. In fact, I've been in communication with some Spectrum people, so I'd love to see that and be able to ask them that question. Yeah. All right, so just real quick.
Can we keep Spectrum for TV?
Yeah, the question is, can't we? Like, is it just possible to keep it?
Anyway, it is. It's
It is possible that we do that. I'm not
Let's do
sure
it.
that we will do that yet.
And why would you change?
Yeah, so,
You screw us up.
yeah, it is. Well, in the end, if it's cheaper for everybody. So right now, for whatever reasons, we have Dish for Elwood, right? And his neighbors, Charlie, and so forth. We have DirecTV for the new homes on the farm over at West. We have Spectrum here for you and Spectrum for the existing older units at West. So we have 3 different providers. Ideally, we would like to get under one provider, be able to have better negotiation with them, a single contract for all 3 of these items. That is not a long-term contract like Spectrum typically likes, all at a frankly at a lower cost. But it is possible to keep Spectrum. I'm verifying that. In fact, I got an email from them that I haven't read yet today. And it is on the table. And all I can do is be perfectly honest with you today. I'm not sure what we're going to do. But we're not going to make any changes unless we feel really darn good about it. You know? And they can prove it to us for a while. So I just wanted to share all of that, be really upfront with you. It's in process. I'm not 100% sure where it's going to end up. But we are as concerned about the TV piece as you are. I can trust, I can, please know that. The last thing I want is for Jordan to walk in here as the new executive director and get, have this big egg laid on the table sort of thing. It's not good for any of us, so we want to make the right decision when we can. And we're not in a hurry to make it, so nothing new for now. No changes until we feel better. Anything else on that, or just anything else I can answer before Matt goes through his presentation, which is full of lots of good information. All right, come on, Matt. And I'll be here. We're happy to answer any kind of questions afterwards.
Who knew that Elwood caused all this for us? So just quick, some follow-ups from last month. I got some feedback about sharing some of these new teammates who we'll get to some introductions soon. But not only who they are, but who's leaving. So some questions came up about that. So Jasmine is our Director of Wellness. So Teresa Cox is leaving us at the end of this month. We are having a party for her on the 22nd. It'll be similar to Arnie's event. We'll have a party here, and a party at West, so you can attend either, both. I'm not going to put none of them out there. You need to attend one of them. Show Teresa how much we appreciate her. Reggie, look, he's already ran away. Reggie is a new position. So we developed that position to offer some support, some IT support that is solely focused on resident support versus resident and business support. And then Cheryl Bridges is the spiritual wellness coordinator. She is a new position as well. And they're here, so we're going to do some introductions. So if you go over to West, you may not have known who Paula was. Paula is the receptionist at West. We got her nameplate, as someone suggested to us that is here. And then Dr. Gupta, there were some issues with her schedule last month leading into the chat. She's actually increased her hours at Friends Home. She has not decreased her hours, and we'll continue to communicate all that out. I believe here there was a question about transportation pricing. So we did share that in the Pulse, but I do want to make one note, and I'm going to touch on this again a little bit later. One-way transportation, there was an error with that. We made some adjustments there. One-way transportation to the airport, to the train, those types of trips, those are $15, not the round trip price. We previously quoted at the last chat. All right, so now I'm looking around. I don't see Mark, unfortunately. He did tell me he may not be able to make this one. So Mark Ford is our new Director of Maintenance. He has really hit the ground running. He's done an excellent job. He's already starting to integrate himself into committees and those type of things. So you'll get to know him very quickly. Jasmine Foz is here. There's Jasmine. So Jasmine is our Director of Wellness. She is here. She exists. We're happy she's here. Cheryl Bridges is our Spiritual Wellness Coordinator. We strategically placed them all throughout the seating here. So Cheryl, yeah, we put Hank by himself on purpose. So Jasmine obviously has the headquarters over at the Wellness Center for now. We're working on some other plans. Cheryl is on the administrative hall. So the office that Arnie was previously in, her office, she's taken over that space. So if you want to see her, she is in the office that Arnie used to be in before he left, right across from Mary. Mark Cottrell and James McNeil are at the back. Mark is the gentleman on the left in the pink. James is the gentleman on the right in the pink. If anybody thinks they can beat James in an arm wrestling competition, we'll line up afterwards on Charlie's table back there and go at it. They both have recently accepted new positions here at Friends Home. So Mark was previously our supervisor here. He's accepted an opportunity to be the director of our Transportation and Public Safety Services. James was an officer here. James has been promoted up into the supervisor position. we are very happy for that. They both have shown us great leadership, and if you didn't read my letter, please go back and read it, because there's a lot of good things. Yes, sir?
Would you parade James and Mark to the front?
Can we parade James and Mark to the front? Come on up. I have great notes. If y'all just want them to do the rest of the chat, we can make that happen. This is Mark. This is James.
Hi.
They keep you safe. They get you from place to place, and do a great job. So we're just happy they're here.
Who will answer the phone?
So they're.
Neither one of them.
I won't say they never answer the phone, but no, we have people we have a person who is dedicated to that job that's a 24/7 manned seat who answers the phone. If they gotta go to the bathroom or something, James might hop in there. All right, gentlemen, y'all can go back to where you're comfortable. If we're in the spirit of parading people to the front, Crystal, sorry. Come on up. This is Crystal Sizemore. She is the new director of nursing here at the Guilford campus. We are very excited to have her here. She's getting to the back real quick. All right, now for the less fun things. So there's a group of residents that work really closely with Daryl to place some new benches. Please don't move those. If you want to suggest a new position for a bench, please let us know. We're happy to help you. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And we don't want anybody to block sidewalks. We've had a couple of situations. So please, if you want to request a new bench, we can do that. So these occupancy numbers may be a little bit off. I do some public service announcement is a PSA, whoever asked that. Occupancy, the main thing here that I want to stress to everybody is a reminder that we do offer a credit to your monthly service fee if you bring a friend here. And I know I'm looking around the room, I know some of you have done that. And it is, again, as Laura and Hank have mentioned, and I've mentioned a time or two, you all are the best marketing that we have. And people constantly tell us that a big part of moving here is how friendly you all are. So we're very excited to continue to promote that. Annual window washing. So we do this every year. It will take place in October, starting on the 16th and running through the end of the month. They're going to start over here and work their way to west. Had a lot of people ask about the Greenway. So the Greenway connector that's going to go under the new bridge and all over the place. We've got an email about that. There's not a whole lot of substance to this, but they are in the construction design phase. If you're like me and you say, what does that mean? That means that it will be ready. So once they receive their money, they can go ahead and start digging, breaking ground. So we are excited about that. There will be some forums and some community input opportunity, but we'll continue to communicate any updates we have on that with you all. If you walk up the admin hall at West, you notice we had some temporary mailboxes over there for the expansion. We had a gentleman out on site yesterday to install permanent mailboxes. Unfortunately, we had a piece that was missing and a piece that was damaged. So if you go over there right now, they look real ugly. But the mailboxes themselves look great, but the rest of it needs some work. They're expediting those parts and they'll finish that up real soon. And then a reminder, I've shared this at council. There's some new items on CareMerge. So if you use CareMerge, great. You've probably noticed these. If you don't use CareMerge, go see Miss Mary. In addition to being an excellent social media poster, she can tell you how to access CareMerge, and you can really start to get engaged in other ways. So we do birthday announcements on there now. When new residents move to the community, that's also on here. And there's a memorial page. So Sydney has helped us get that set up, and Susie, we're in the process of getting that implemented fully on everybody's CareMerge platform. But those are some good items that we've had on there. And then Monday, if you were one of the people who tried to access the menus over the weekend or Monday and could not do that, there was a technical issue. It really affected a kind of random assortment of people's CareMerge. The menus were up, but for whatever reason they weren't showing on a couple platforms. So if you have issues, just let us know, but we were able to get those resolved to the best of our abilities. Even more updates. So the roof repair. This is an important topic here. I've had a lot of people continue to ask why we're taking so long. Are we not going to do it because it costs too much money? Those kind of things. So again, I covered this last month, but I do want to stress the answer to that is no. We are doing this. We are working very closely with engineers, with contractors on the best process for this. So what we know so far is that it's this section of roof. So the breezeway out here to AL, lunch side of the dining room is not affected, but this whole piece of roof will have to be replaced. And that is not just replacing shingles, that's taking the whole structure off, putting a new structure on. So it is going to be, I see there's some head shaking, that's going to be a big project. The reason why we're taking our time with this is because we want to get it right. And by that I mean they're going to park a crane and they're going to start to work. And while they're doing that, this room is going to be closed. And then when we start, and we start to go over here, sections of the dining room will also be closed. So there will be a big impact, and we're going to have to figure out how we work through that. We've got some plans. We're already starting to get that all pieced together. But again, we want to take our time, communicate that out very well, and make sure that we get this right. Yes, ma'am.
Going to be covering the reading room.
The reading room, we're going to look to make some other types of repairs. That's on. So I mentioned Mark Ford, the leak in the reading room. He's aware of that, and we're working on that. This is structural problems that have to be repaired. I know the leak is a big problem as well, but this is a little bit different of a project. But thank you for asking about that. So we'll communicate that out once we get some dates locked in. We don't really have a date locked in at this time. But as soon as we do get that set in stone, we'll let you know. In Compass update, I mentioned Jasmine being here. Last month I kind of shared some real high level things that we want to change. I don't know if any of you remember the wellness assessment that we tried to get off the ground and never quite could find our footing with that. So Jasmine's already hit the ground running. She's done some revisions to that. Kayla's helped out with that a lot, and we look to get that implemented. So that'd be an assessment that you could do. Other communities encourage residents to do that during the month that they're born, your birthday month, and with that you can get some programming suggestions, those type of things. One of the big pieces to that is this 6-month balance and mobility program. Again, we talked about the program and the benefits of moving life enrichment away from the wellness program and splitting those two out is to strengthen those. And this is a good example of how we can really bring programming that adds a benefit to you, a health benefit. So this balance program, Gray Hill, started in January. We'll communicate all this out again. Program attendance, we've had a lot of people ask how we decide which programs we dial back to 1 day a week, which ones we do 3-4 days a week, those kind of things. A big part of that is attendance, and up until this point we've not done a great job, had a good system in place for tracking that, and so Jasmine's already set that up for us. We're really excited about that. If you have questions, again, you got a face to the name now, and you can go see her for those questions. Salon services. Oh yeah, almost as important as TV, but not quite. We have signed an agreement with a company called PS Salon Services. I've mentioned this a couple times now, but they're looking to open October 2nd. That really has no impact on y'all other than we'll be having more beauticians. They've done a lot of recruiting. They've got people ready to go. More services. And there will be some pricing adjustments, some services up, some services down, and then addition of a lot of new services that we have not been able to offer yet. Yes?
I want to speak further. I'm a regular at the beauty shop, and we have 2 excellent people right now.
We do.
And I think the other people who go to the shop will agree, Denny and Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
And are they going to be able to stay?
They're going to, yes, they can if they want to.
haven't been, the last time I talked to them, they haven't been talking.
So the question was, and then after this, let's hold questions till the end so we can get through. The question was, are the beauticians that are currently on staff here going to be able to stay? And the answer is yes, if they want to. So they're going to meet, they have met. They met with the company when we came around and did our first initial tour. And then we've been having some conversation I have with them about just holding tight till we get everything ironed out, and they will send their regional person who's in this area to come out and meet with them. They'll do an interview and talk about the pay structure of the company and that kind of thing, and they will get a choice if they want to continue working here or if they feel like they need to continue on their own. Can we hold on till the end? Is it?
I have a question
So if you can just hold on to that question till the very end, we'll open up for all questions. And then one really important thing about the chat, next month, instead of the first Wednesday, we're going to be on the second Wednesday next month, and that's because we've got Bright Spire Olympics taking place the first week in October, and then we have some big announcements that we want to share, and some of the things that we need to kind of coordinate with that happen that week. So mark your calendars. We will not be on the first Wednesday. We'll be on the second Wednesday, and that is the 11th of October. So we've got some programs updates. I told Wes I did not think this through. This is not a political protest of mine. This is the DC trip. We did have to cancel that due to low interest. After I put this up there, I was like, oh man, that's probably poor timing. Again, I mentioned the Bright Spire Olympics. That is the first week of October. Kayla and Jasmine can help you with that. Sorry, I'm blurring my notes here. The Bryan Series, I do mention the Bryan Series. So I've shared a couple chats ago, a couple months ago. We're working with Guilford College on that partnership. They've successfully moved everybody back to campus, so I have a meeting set up with them next week. And we're going to talk about some of those things I've already shared with y'all, kind of getting some of those ideas across the finish line. So the library access, what that looks like, how you get your library cards, streaming the Bryan Series, and then some really interesting and exciting intergenerational programming, specifically around holidays. Students that don't have a home to go home to or don't go home, perhaps come over here and partake in a holiday meal with us. So we're really excited about some of those programs, and hopefully we'll have some more concrete updates with that. We got a Mass General Store trip on the 26th. We've got the Mendenhall Home Place on the 16th. And then we got a bunch of music programs. I listed them all off at West, but the 8th, the 15th, the 23rd, the 28th. So read your connection closely. There's a lot of opportunity to engage in some music programs. And then shared these last month, added a few. Definitely want to share some of these. These are key dates that it's important to mark your calendars for. So first, the Crop Walk will be on the 6th. Again, we've been the #1 team for 2 years in a row. Erwin Smallwood has informed me that it's going to be 3 years in a row, so we're going to really try to drum up participation there. Fall Fest will be taking place here. That is the week-long celebration that we do to say thank you for your contributions to the Employee Appreciation Fund. If you've not given or want to give more, feel called to do so. Charlie's in the back. Go see him. He's got his table set up, and he's ready to tell you all the good that this program does. But this Fall Fest is a big celebration to say thank you. There's a lot of fun things going on. Parade, chili cook-off. I'm drawing a blank now. Mary's got all those details for you. She can share more, but mark your calendars for those. New Resident Social. So we flip between the two campuses. This month is at West. This is the big one to celebrate everybody that moved in since last October. It'll be out in front of the villas. We're going to have a band. We're going to have barbecue, themed meal. It's going to be a lot of fun. Dread and Breakfast. Y'all know about Dread and Breakfast already. It's been a staple here, but it's a fun program. So that will be taking place again. We did change the name. Some of you that know it is Dead and Breakfast. We got some feedback about the name, and so we did change it. We are doing a trunk or treat event on Halloween in the evening, so come get your breakfast in the morning. I actually believe there's an Edgar Allan Poe themed lunch that a committee's working on, activities committee, I believe, that day. So there's a lot of really spooky things going on the 31st, but trunk or treat, we'll be getting more info, details out about these. Winterfest is at West on the 5th, and Cookies with Santa, I got cut off here too. Cookies with Santa this year, and I cut the date off, and I don't know it off the top of my head, I apologize. It's the 8th. You heard it from the man himself. All right, we're listening. The CareMerge staff directory. If you look on there, as of lunchtime today, everybody has a picture on the CareMerge staff directory. Yeah. Sydney has gone around and roughed people up and dangled them off of a bridge to make sure they get their picture in there. And they did. What should I do if my neighbor needs assistance? So this came up in resident council here. Contact your resident services coordinator and or your clinic nurse. We live in a community. We all want to be good neighbors. We want to take care of our neighbors. However, we don't want you to hurt yourself in that process, and we don't want someone to need services that they're not receiving, because that is not a good situation to be in. So if your neighbor's needing more help and you feel like you want to look out for them, please let your resident services coordinator know. I mentioned the one-way transportation pricing. As a friend of mine in here actually brought that to our attention. So that has been adjusted and corrected. So again, round-trip pricing is all the same. Medical assistance on your trips are the same. But a one-way trip will now run you $15. Those are to the airport, to the train station. Wellness Center HVAC adjustments. As I mentioned, Mark Ford's really hit the ground running for us. One of the first things he started working on was this project. If you go to any classes, go to the pool, there's rooms that are very cold, rooms that are very hot, rooms that are very humid. Mark has already made some adjustments. It's not perfect. We're still working with that. And there's still other things at play, but he's really brought a lot of new life to that. So he's really on that, and we're happy for that. You're all sitting here, so you're not at the Braver Angels program, but I did have questions about that, if it violated our policy on partisan politics. It does not. Again, that's currently going on the West Campus, so if you're sitting here, you're probably not too worried about that. Someone shared that the signage in front of Hobbs was blocked by the shrubbery. Daryl very quickly got that taken care of. The Dogwood Deli now has a voicemail for ordering. So if you're calling and can't get someone, you can leave an order on voicemail now. There's a guide for how to do that posted on CareMerge. Carly can help direct that. Christina, any of the dining leadership can help you with that. So how are we helping the less fortunate? This question came up at a Dine with the Director event that recently was over at West. First, you heard Hank mention Capital Towers, affordable housing. That's a great program. Morrison's also helped support that. Additionally, and I've been given permission to share this, Ruth Martin, who lives here, has a group that works on these. These are mats made from grocery bags given to the homeless. So there's a little bit of cushion there. If you want to see one of these, you can come see it. Ruth is right over here and can help you get partnered up if you're interested in participating in that. It's a really, really cool way to give back. And then I mentioned the Greensboro Urban Ministry. We have food donations, and then Crop Walk. We do a lot of good work there. We celebrated that partnership last month, and the work that we've done with, oh, look, here we go. The work that we've done there. Thank you, Ruth. Yeah, so these are nice, and you actually get a good bit of cushion in there. So I encourage you, if you're someone who's looking for ways to give back, I'll hold it up. I need Hank to come up here. If you're somebody who's looking for ways to give back, this is a good way to do it. And Ruth we'll lay it up here. I don't recommend laying down on it right now, but yeah, if you want to come check it out, this is what it looks like. Thank you, Ruth.
Just to say, your grocery bags can keep somebody up off of the concrete.
So for those of you in the back, what Ruth was saying is that grocery bags can keep somebody off of the concrete.
And there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
It takes a while to get going, as the ladies who have come to help can attest. But all you need to do is collect your grocery bags. Clean ones, please. Sticky ones are not helpful. But we cut them into little strips, and this is not your regular crocheting. Most people say, oh, well, yeah, I can crochet, and they're talking about little thin thread making pretty little doilies under a vase or something. This is not what that is. It's, and people who are used to fine crocheting probably look down their nose at this, but that doesn't help somebody that's laying on the street, and this does. So we welcome anybody to come and help either cut bags into strips or start putting them together. It's new, so there haven't been much of anything bigger than that for a lot of them. But you're perfectly okay to come and lay on it and see what it feels like, because it really is a big help.
If you're worried about getting back up, I was going to say give it a second thought, but we'll help you out.
It's better than concrete to lay on.
It is. Thank you, Ruth. All right, so then real quick, some committee success stories here. Menu revisions. If you eat at Cobles, you'll know that there's a lunch menu in place now. A little bit more approachable, smaller fares, sandwiches, less of the dinner, entree style. And then we're approaching the full menu revisions that we do periodically. So if you participate in the dining committee, you already know this. If you don't and you want to, encourage you to be a guest there. I think my battery's dying. A restriping update. I know this is, there's a lot of questions. There we go. I got some fans in here for this one. I think you're fans. So I do have bad news that we're waiting for the repaving project at West to be done, because we're going to try to get those striped at the same time. But the good news is we're going to start that project in early October. So we do have a date. We don't know how long it'll take, and again, weather's a factor there. But when that project is all complete, we'll have a company come out and restripe the entire community. So, and y'all have a lot of things here that need to be touched up. Steve and I walked with the contractor, mapped it all out, and we're excited about that. I know there's a problematic spot that everybody's anxious to see, so we will do something to work on that in the meantime, a temporary fix, but hold tight on that. We'll get the cones back out, make sure everybody knows. Wayfinding signage, so if you've driven over to West, especially since new roads have been added, or if you're somebody who's just starting to explore across the bridge and you don't know your way around, there was some signage ordered. There's a big delay in that as far as getting that signage, but it'll be here soon. Late October, early November, we'll install that as soon as we get it. There is a new partnership that we have with a food supplier who is offering us expanded offerings for gluten-free options, dairy-free options. So if you're somebody who has those sensitivities, that's good news, and look to see more of those items kind of rolling out. The Chef's Table event over at Cobles was a big success. The Woods lease, cemetery lease has been signed, and so what we're doing now is looking at updates that need to be done, repairs to some of the boardwalk area. We're evaluating if there's a better solution to some of that, and how to take care of it. There's some areas that are pretty overgrown, so Daryl and his team are looking into that. And then guest room renovations are underway. I gave an update on that last month. We started that process Monday, so the flooring in the 4 West guest rooms is complete. They'll be transitioned over here at some point, and we're going to look to go ahead and do all the floors, and then the designer is going to finish out one whole room and let the group that's been working on that, and let Hank and I kind of take a look at that and see if we feel good about moving forward with all the guest rooms. And then a quick reminder here that we will be moving to, there'll be 2 guest rooms in Henshaw and 2 guest rooms in the Woolman building in some of the studio apartments. And so there's a lot of benefit to that we can discuss at another time. But we are excited to get those done. All right. I know there's a question up front. Does anybody else have any questions? And there's a microphone coming your way so everybody can hear.
I have two quick questions.
Yes.
The first one is, when is Julian coming back?
That's a good question. So I have it on my agenda to call Julian. Was going to try to do that yesterday. Unfortunately, we had a resident board and then a trustees meeting that got away from me.
But he is coming back.
He is coming back, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second question is about the salon, the beauty salon. Originally, there was something new rule that there was no tipping. And I've heard that has changed from one of the operators, that you can tip if you want to,
So,
which is correct.
so currently, tipping is included, the tip is included in the price of the service.
So they should not be asking for a tip.
They should not be asking for a tip. Under the new company, the way it's set up and the way their accounting works, we are able to allow that to happen. But that will be October 2nd and beyond. And there will be some rules and things in place for
Okay,
that.
that's great. Thank you.
Yes, Sue?
I noticed that the connection went to a month. Is that gonna continue to get a monthly connection?
So Mary was out of town last week, and Teresa did that. Teresa's hiding. So what I will share with you is that right now there's no plans to change that, but I will, again, be very open and transparent about this, that as we look at programming, as we look at some things that Hank and I have been working on long term, it probably will make sense to move to a one-time monthly newsletter for the whole community. And that's not to say we can't get calendars out in different ways. We can do other things to supplement that, but as far as that connection, right now there's a lot of double work on Mary's plate that doesn't need to be happening, and in addition to other things that are in place. Yes, sir.
Two questions. It seems to me I heard several months ago that October the 1st would be a date when the declining balance dining monies would have some expanded something another program.
Yes.
When will we receive details about that?
Soon. So we had a phone call. So you're referring to Full Count. Full Count is the new POS system, point of sale system, that will be used for dining, transportation, anything that's billed your way, any additional ancillary services will go through that. Versus currently, they're going through Retail Tracker. So we'll be transitioning away from Retail Tracker, transitioning to Full Count. That will be October 1st. Carly had a call yesterday about implementation. Carly in the business office. Again, we were in our meeting, so I didn't get the details of that yet. But we're still on track for that. And as they start to get details about how that will impact you, as far as how you'll check your balances. I know the guest meals is the big item around that. Once we figure out how that works, how that'll be programmed, we'll communicate all that out. But it should be a pretty seamless transition. But there'll just be added benefit to that. So once we have concrete details to share, we'll share those.
Okay. Also, there was some conversation about Care Merge encompassing reservations for transportations, ball games, etc., trips, whatever. Is that ever going to happen?
So you can currently, if you're on Care Merge, you can currently sign up for programs. So the ball games, those kind of things, you can currently do that now. We've not really promoted that because it's taken us a while. Adoption of Care Merge at Friends Homes has been slow compared to other communities that use it. And so we've been slow playing that. That is something you can do. One of the things that I mentioned, some of the connection and how we communicate, that all kind of goes hand in hand. We're working on those handbook revisions. I don't know if y'all have heard me talk about that before. But we're working on that. We've basically stolen from another community. We're going through the handbook, updating it with our information, and some of those things have kind of put us at a crossroads of, do we want to lean into this, reserving, table reservations through the portal? Do we want to lean into these things, or do we want to potentially have to revise the handbook again? And so conversations around that have been happening, and I got to get with Mary about some of those. But that feature is on there. People are using it. So it just has not been promoted yet. And then Full Count has its own reservation platform that'll communicate with Care Merge, and it's a really robust platform as well. Yes, Tina.
I kind of raised this with you at lunch yesterday,
and that is people who don't use Care Merge and are not able to be really responsive in a positive way to even the written word. I'm concerned about people who could benefit from reminders by people on staff or whatever.
Yeah, so she shared that there's several people who are not on Care Merge, don't fully know how to use it or comfortable with it yet. There are people who do this with the written documents as well. It was a question or a comment rather about how we can remind people who struggle with that. And I think that we've definitely got some opportunities. There's a lot of bulletin boards here. Unfortunately, bulletin boards take a lot of time to go up and adjust and take tax out and those kind of things. So we're always open to suggestions and ideas from a communication standpoint. And again, we've got a lot of things that we're working on behind the scenes, so that hopefully we can get in front of you soon with some exciting updates specifically around communication, administration, responsiveness, accessibility, those type of things.
Have you thought about, there are a lot of us in individual living who manage very well an individual, but we have sight problems. We can't use Care Marriage, and I can't even read your bulletin boards. Do you ever think about, and I'm not the only person, there are many of us who have sight problems.
Yeah, so when we get to, when we start to implement some of these changes, Lynn, I will touch base with you and others, and that's the input that we'd like to have from you all as far as why things would work, why they wouldn't work. I hope that answered your question. I'm sorry.
That's okay, as long as you're not.
Thank you, Lynn.
Two questions, please,
Yes.
sir. On the meal poster out there for tomorrow, it says Mexican buffet, and nobody seems to know what's going on, and I'm sure that lady right there. The other question I have, any long-range plans of what to do about all the empty studios that are available?
Yeah, so do you want, Laura, do you want to jump back up, or you want me to take a stab and see
Totally
if-
up to you.
You come on. It'd be rude not to let you answer.
Okay, so just to confirm, the question was, what are we doing to try to reserve the studios that are available, is that correct? Okay. So we do have a plan in place for the studios and the one-bedroom apartments here at Guilford. One of the things that so we do put together a marketing plan, and that is part of our plan, is to really focus on those smaller accommodations here at Woolman and Fox. One of the things that we've already done is we went ahead and we bought a purchase list. So yes, it's legal, and we can buy addresses of demographics and age and income qualifications. We typically do a 30-mile perimeter of friends' homes, because that's our primary market area. So we've done that. We already have events on the calendar, and we have one invitation that's about to hit the mail for October, which is inviting people in to learn about what I guess we would call more right-sizing than we would call downsizing. We have partnered with some professionals in the community that do relocation specialists. We have some plans to bring in some authors who write books on downsizing and coordinating your space. So we're really gonna focus on a different market than we have necessarily. That doesn't mean we're gonna stop marketing all of the other accommodations and building the wait list. We are fortunate, we just did a little study and found that we have about 35 households on our Resident of the Future list who have said that they're interested in a studio apartment here at Guilford. They have not moved, they are on the wait list, and so we're gonna focus a little more effort on bringing them into the community. We've put together a studio model, if you've not seen it, it looks great. And so just really engaging with the people who are on the wait list already, since they've already made a small commitment to Friends Homes, and trying to get them to see that they should do it sooner than later. I could keep going, but I'll stop. Does that answer your question?
What about guest
Um,
rooms?
So, the question about guest rooms,
Yeah, that, was some of
So that-
the studios gonna be converted to guest rooms?
yeah, so that's one of the ideas that we have behind that, is that we can convert that to a guest room. Really new floor, new paint, new everything, really turn it into essentially a model. While it sits open, let people have your loved ones stay there, or friends stay there. And if it happens that somebody says, "I like this apartment, want to move into it," great, we'll sell it and we'll move on and get a new guest room. So we're really coming at this from a lot of different angles as far as how we address that.
Yeah, it's a great question. We could really use your help on this. As Laura mentioned, there's 21 total apartments here. Most of them are studios that are not occupied. We wonder, which is what Laura was speaking about, if people just don't know about it, that they could move here into those style of accommodations and they just aren't aware. So she's trying to find opportunities and ways to just get the word out. You can help us with that, I think. But then we get people who are, what?
The grant program.
Oh, well, I don't know, it's a hard thing. I'm not sure how to put my finger on it, but people seem to maybe wait too long, and then they're not really able to live in the independent living, if that makes sense. Go ahead, John.
How many of the empty studios have water in the kitchen?
Yeah, so John's question is, how many of the studios that are empty have a kitchen, or a partial kitchen? I think have a sink other than in the bathroom.
Exactly.
I don't know exactly the number, John, but I'm gonna take a guess that it's the majority of them.
Wouldn't you say that's a big problem for people?
I would say that's a big problem,
And we
yeah.
don't have a solution for that problem yet, is that what you're saying?
It's a tough solution. It requires additional investment in something that's already hard. And there's structural challenges, plumbing challenges, so we can do some of that. But yeah, I don't disagree. It is part of the challenge. It's a lot of challenges. I'm not sure people know about it. It's very affordable. We're willing to make it more affordable, to be honest with you. The kitchen issue, lack of a sink is a problem. Look, this is stuff that was built 45 years ago or more and designed probably 50 years ago. People just thought about how they live very differently than they do now. But if you have thoughts, really, I mean it. We're open. If you have friends, we're open to ideas.
We've got several studios that are adjacent to one another that can be converted to two-room apartments. Why?
Yeah, so the question is, why don't we combine them? So the best we can do there is just cut a hole in the door or in the wall. We can't in the wall.
You can take one of the bathrooms and make a kitchen out of it.
So if they're able to be combined, our rule of thumb is typically to combine them.
Yeah.
If you go in those rooms that have the framing for a door in it, those are the ones that can be combined. The ones that don't have that in place structurally can't be combined.
It's true. You don't believe us? We had a structural engineer study the building.
There's one across the hall from me,
Yeah.
it's been sitting there now for several months and nothing being done. It's two studios and it has the door that you can cut between it already there.
Yeah,
Why
so-
isn't some move forward to do something with it?
So we have people who want to downsize. Some of those apartments are kind of earmarked for those people. If they come open, we're waiting to see if they're ready to move. But if there's a room that has the capability to be combined from a structural standpoint, we move forward with combining it. I'll look into that one and see if it's on the list. We do have, it takes some time, and to be frank and open about this, if we've got people who are wanting to move into other units, we don't want to delay their move in to combine units that even when combined are difficult to occupy.
Hank, are you aware that Fox has sinks and Woolman does not?
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah. The majority of the units we're talking about are in Woolman.
One of the things I hear is that people who are downsizing want two rooms. A living room and a bedroom.
Sure.
And that's what we're talking about, is trying to be able to combine that description. I mean,
Yeah, there are
You're
some.
talking about
in a
downsize.
studio, they want 2 rooms instead of 5 rooms.
Let me just be clear. You're talking about people who don't currently live here, downsizing from their current home to move to friends' homes. Yeah, I agree. That is definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely
sorry,
true.
when I said downsize, we have people who move into a larger accommodation and over time want a smaller apartment.
Matt's talking about people who already live at friends' homes, downsizing into something smaller. Go both ways, right? Pardon?
I said, I live in a studio and I
Yeah.
manage very well.
Yep. We would love to have more of you doing the same.
Yeah, so we had,
Oh, yeah, there was a question.
we've got the chair of the dining committee here to give you the scoop on the Mexican buffet.
Okay, I was very concerned that we didn't know the menus ahead of time. I have just come from meeting with Kimmy, our sous chef, our head chef, and she is going to give me the menus for each of those buffets. It will be every Thursday. Every Thursday, and it'll be a different buffet. And my concern was that if you didn't know what was on that buffet, you would assume it was stuff you didn't want. And so I will be putting up a menu every week on your hall bulletin board, so you can see what it will be. Does that help?
Is it lunch only?
It's only lunch.
Is it only dinner?
No, it's dinner. It's dinner. It's only dinner, yeah. It'll be you don't have to sign up. It's not a sign up. You just go in and you'll be seated and then they'll send you through the line. You can see samples of everything before you take something.
Carry out.
Will there be any,
Probably.
will there be
Soon.
any, alternative? Oh, yes, alternative, thank you. I like the healthy ones that are affordable instead of going to buffet.
I think only that menu is available.
That's what it was before.
Well, they're trying to put a variety, you got 4 entrees on there, and 4 appetizers, and a couple desserts, and a bunch of sides. So they're hoping you can put together something that you would be happy with. They're just trying to make life different. What?
Not Mexican every
Not Mexican
No,
every week.
Mexican, Italian, Chinese, I think there's a 4th. Asian, I think there's a 4th one too, I forgot what it is.
Yeah, there's clearly been feedback, build some variety in, so God bless you for chairing the dining committee, because I would never do it. Don't quit on us. Food stuff, y'all, I think the feedback's been, we'd like some variety, like some buffet type of opportunity, so this is an effort to try and do both. If you enjoy it, great. If you don't, that's okay. There are other options, other places.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wondered about in the studio apartments, if you put one together, decorated one, they would not sell better.
We did that already.
We have one.
I haven't seen that, but I mentioned to my daughter that that's what I would do if something happened to John, and she was opposed to that, but I think if she saw it, she would not be opposed.
I can pull up the
Put out
number.
the
We
unit
have,
number,
we have a model apartment.
206?
It's 1406.
14.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. John, hang in there, though. Don't make her move. Don't make her move. How's this going so far? Why did I stand back up?
I don't know if Wendy's here today, right now, is she?
No,
No.
she's not.
Wendy just brought somebody to see my studio today. And I kind of think that makes a difference. That
Oh,
people
that's-
can see that you can live there.
Yeah.
And so anybody who wants to come and see my studio and see how it's done, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, it's very helpful when you're willing to show your home to somebody who's considering making the move. That's a big deal.
Yeah, Susie just made a suggestion. We'll look at finding a time to open up 1406, and if anybody wants to see it, come by.
But you're not adding any guest rooms, is that correct? You're just closing 2 down in Henshaw and moving 2 somewhere else?
We're moving 2 guest rooms, yes.
Where are you going to, those 2 rooms?
We'll have the same number we have now, total.
So we have 4, right? We'll have 4. 2 of them will be in the Woolman building. Larger rooms, even though they're studios, larger than they are in Henshaw and nicer and updated. So no good deed goes unpunished, but we're gonna keep trying. Holy smokes.
What's happening to the rooms in Henshaw?
Yeah, that's what we know.
They're gonna be vacated for now. It's a 50-year-old nursing home. That's what it is.
No offices.
Not right now.
My son just stayed in Henshaw, and he thought it was.
I'm very glad that he enjoyed it. Hopefully he'll also enjoy the new ones, the newly renovated. Which one was it? We won't change.
Oh, yeah, that is the first time we've heard that from a guest.
Yeah, that's,
Here.
hey,
Can I just suggest one thing? My family came and took up the one that has twin beds. You gotta keep one with twin beds.
all right, twin beds.
Yes.
Are we keeping twin beds, smart man?
You know what? My head's spinning. I don't know what
I don't
we're doing.
know. The Mexican buffet got us way off track.
We may end up with bunk beds, who knows?
You have to eat Mexican buffet 5 nights a week. That's what I heard.
One thing you may not have thought about with Fox is that we don't have any extra storage on our halls.
No, you don't.
And Woman does, Hobbs does.
Yeah.
So when I showed a girl who lives in Hobbs and she wants to downsize, I showed her my apartment and I opened the doors to my closet and she said, "Oh, horrified."
Yeah.
I mean, I could see what she was thinking, where am I going to
Put all your things.
That's a big problem.
I don't disagree. All right. Thanks so much. Oh, wait, there's one more question.
One final question.
Oh, well-
Single-digit phone is a done deal, correct?
That's right.
Is there going to be any additional expense to that?
No.
No, so
No.
the communication package, and again, this is one of those, it's like meal plans. Everybody's contract is a little different, but the communication package pricing is largely dependent on the TV piece as well. But you all having phones are grandfathered into that deal. If you were to move here now, you would have an additional charge for a telephone.
Thank you.
That's good.